Hello, my name is Dr. Anthony Basil, and this is my talk about why is the open research agenda important. Well, to start off with, let's take a look at what the UKRI says. What is open research? Well, the principle is that it should be as open as possible, how research is performed, and how knowledge is shared. JISC looks at open research as it's extending beyond the boundaries of open access. An important features of research and innovation for open research is transparency, openness, verification, and that it can be reproduced. Well, according to the Concordat, to support research integrity, there are several elements that we want to follow. It should be rigorous and integrity in all aspects of the research. Ethical, legal, and professional frameworks should be followed. Research environment that's underpinned by a culture of integrity. That we should address research misconduct and make sure that we understand what we mean by the integrity of research. So why is this open research agenda important for Bournemouth University? Well, if we take a look at what the vision statement is for the university, we can see that we want to create a stimulating, challenging experience for students through teaching and through research, and that research is identified as one of the core elements of the vision. Linking as well to our values, we can see that this ties into creativity, which is part of the university's values. So we have open research and as an agenda, and then how can that be applied? Well, if we take a look at the Open Safely initiative, we can see that in this case, what we have is a program which is promoting transparency, openness, verification, and that it can be the research can be reproduced. So this application embraces the open research agenda that allows us to apply that into our organization. Another example of how we can apply the open research agenda is through the Bennett Institute Open Manifesto. Now, here it has a more of an NHS focus, and they're looking at ways of improving better data. And some of the key components in the way the open research agenda is applied here sees that we have everything has the opportunity to be published. We want to encourage collaboration. We want to make that as easy as possible. And where possible, to automate tasks using code. And because it has a focus on programming, to use the coder's best practice suggestions and guidelines. So another example of open research agenda, how it can be applied, is the open air services. And in this case, there are a number of different tools that if we are trying to encourage an open research agenda within Bournemouth University, that we can apply. So for example, adopting a policy, preparing for interoperability, publishing research in the open, discovering research with no boundaries, monitoring the outcomes, policies, and updates and the impact that they have, and then to be able to train the stakeholders involved. So this is another way that we can apply the open research agenda within Bournemouth University. Now, I started to reflect on this question of the open research agenda. And in my professional experience, I've encountered a situation where working with Emerald Publishing, we created a platform, a Web 2.0, where it was stakeholder generated content. In other words, within this virtual learning environment, all of the various authors for Emerald Publishing books and journals had a space, an online system, which was aimed very much at the open research agenda. They promoted sharing and collaboration, provided a number of different tools such as wikis to be able to encourage this type of sharing and creative environment. However, ultimately the system failed because they didn't take precautions in terms of cybersecurity. And unfortunately, because of that, then they had to shut down the system. So this is a caution that I would put in our open research agenda. So finishing off then, we want to take a look at this from an artificial intelligence perspective. Um, when we're talking about the open research agenda, um, uh, have to be aware that researchers and various stakeholders are going to be using more and more artificial intelligence. So I wanted to ask the question, what does ChatGPT say about this topic? And here we can see that there are a number of issues brought up, and as I think if we're looking at artificial intelligence and recognizing it as we did when the World Wide Web first came out, and we reference this and paraphrase, then I think it's a suitable source of information. And some of the topics that we need to finish off with then in this area concern transparency and accessibility. Okay, this platform allows researchers to share their findings more widely, and then build upon that knowledge that's generated. Collaboration and innovation is a key element here, particularly if we have opportunities for interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary approaches to collaborate on the open research. Can the research be reproduced? You know, how rigorous is it? Well, we want to be able to validate the research and then replicate those findings so that the findings can be trusted. This is a core essential element of this design. We want to focus on the impact and the engagement. We want to make sure that we understand that to lead to translation of the research findings. We want to be able to put that into practical applications, practical policies and interventions. It's not just only a theoretical framework. And then finally, we want to try to promote this culture of research integrity. We want to encourage and develop our learning culture at Bournemouth University to use the research-led teaching. So in conclusion, Open Research Agenda fosters a culture of openness, collaboration, and accountability in research. And the benefit is not going to be just for the academic community, but as our values and our mission statement says, for Bournemouth University, for society as a whole. I hope you found that interesting. Thank you very much.